As we grow older, our bodies become more sensitive not just to what we eat, but to how we prepare and reheat our food. And this simple, often overlooked detail can quietly make the difference between feeling energized or fatigued, between staying independent or needing more help than before, because the aging digestive system no longer processes nutrients with the same efficiency. And the immune system becomes more vulnerable to low-grade inflammation triggered by improper food handling, which is why one of the most powerful things seniors can do to protect their health is to adopt a thoughtful approach to nutrition that includes not only what's on the plate, but also when and how it's eaten. And this mindset of mindful nourishment starts with understanding which food supports cellular renewal, stabilize blood sugar, and reduce joint inflammation when reheated properly, while avoiding those that degrade into harmful compounds after being cooked a second time, such as mushrooms or eggs, which may cause digestive upset or even promote silent oxidative stress that chips away at mobility, clarity, and heart health. And so as we explore the landscape of elderly wellness, we find that it's less about strict diets and more about listening to the body, embracing consistency, gentle cooking methods, and simple routines that center around warming meals like oatmeal, vegetable soup, or brown rice. Foods that transform when given the right care, becoming sources of slow-releasing energy, gut-healing fiber, and protective minerals that help seniors maintain strength, prevent frailty, and reduce inflammation over time, especially when combined with lifestyle practices such as staying hydrated, walking daily, getting enough sleep, and supporting mental health with positive social interactions and routine. Because aging is not just a physical process, but also an emotional and psychological journey. And food can be an anchor in that journey, offering comfort, memory, and a sense of stability in a world that sometimes moves too fast. And this is why healthcare for seniors should be holistic, not just focused on medical appointments and prescriptions, but also on creating daily rituals of nourishment and rest, recognizing that something as small as a warm bowl of soup or a well-cooked grain can quietly contribute to fewer hospital visits, lower blood pressure, stronger bones, and more days spent enjoying life with clarity and dignity. And while many health tips come and go, the wisdom of simplicity remains constant. Eat gently, cook with intention, move regularly, and avoid the silent stressors, like improperly reheated leftovers, that can sneak into the body's systems and cause long-term wear. And in doing so, you give yourself the best chance to stay independent, active, and emotionally grounded through every chapter of the aging journey. And as we continue this path toward healthier aging, it's important to remember that true wellness doesn't come from dramatic changes overnight, but from small, consistent choices that honor the body's natural rhythm. Because by the time we reach our 60s, 70s, and beyond, every organ, from the heart to the kidneys, from the brain to the digestive system, has been working tirelessly for decades, and it deserves meals that support recovery, not stress, which is why seniors must become more selective not just about what they eat, but also about the pace of life, the environment they eat in, and the emotional energy they carry into each day, since stress, loneliness, and lack of purpose can weaken immunity and shorten lifespans just as surely as poor diet can. And that's where a simple daily routine, rich in nourishment, gentle activity, and emotional connection, becomes a form of medicine more powerful than many realize. Because when older adults take time to prepare warm meals, share them with loved ones, and focus on whole, minimally processed foods that are easy to digest, yet deeply nourishing, such as reheated brown rice with steamed vegetables or a broth-rich vegetable soup, they're doing more than feeding their bodies. They're signaling to every cell that they are safe, cared for, and still growing, still living with intention. And this positive signal echoes in the nervous system, lowers cortisol levels, reduces chronic inflammation, and allows for deeper rest at night, better balance during the day, and a mental clarity that so many fear losing as the years pass. And though modern life often pushes convenience over care, it's never too late to return to basics, to set the table slowly, to warm the soup with attention, to listen to soft music while eating, to treat each meal as a chance to heal and reflect. And in doing so, seniors can reclaim a sense of control, of peace, of daily dignity, creating not only a healthier body, but also a life that feels worth living, filled with warmth, intention, and the quiet power of self-respect practiced through every bite and while. Nourishing the body through thoughtful meals lays the foundation for longevity. It is the surrounding lifestyle, what we do before, after, and between those meals, that truly shapes how we age because our bodies were never meant to sit still for long stretches or exist in isolation. And that's why even gentle movement, like a morning walk around the block or simple chair stretches while the kettle boils, becomes a form of daily repair, stimulating circulation, keeping joints lubricated, and awakening the mind with fresh oxygen. And just as important is the rhythm of rest, because seniors often forget that quality sleep is not a luxury, but a biological necessity, allowing the brain to clear waste, the muscles to recover, and the immune system to strengthen. So cultivating a wind-down routine in the evening, perhaps a warm bath, a few pages of a favorite book, or slow breathing exercises, can restore the deep, undisturbed sleep that aging bodies need to heal. And beyond food and movement, the health of the heart is closely tied to the heart's emotional environment, which is why loneliness and disconnection are far more damaging than most blood markers can reveal, making it essential to stay socially engaged, whether by calling an old friend, volunteering a few hours a week, or simply chatting with neighbors during a walk. Because conversation and laughter spark dopamine and serotonin in the brain, natural chemicals that protect against depression, cognitive decline, and even physical pain. And finally, one of the most overlooked yet powerful tools for senior health is the daily practice of purpose. Having a reason to get up, something to look forward to, whether it's tending to a garden, writing a family memoir, or helping care for a grandchild, because purpose fuels resilience. And in older adults, resilience often makes the difference between decline and vitality. So when we pair mindful eating with movement, sleep, connection, and purpose, we create not just a longer life, but a richer, steadier, and more meaningful one, where every day becomes a chance not just to survive, but to truly thrive. And yet, even with the body nourished and a lifestyle shaped by good habits, true health in our later years remains incomplete without tending to the emotional self. Because as the pace of life slows and the roles we once held shift or fall away, parent, worker, provider, partner, it is natural to feel moments of sadness, doubt, or even a subtle erosion of identity. And this is why emotional well-being is not just an abstract concept, but a daily practice, a deliberate choice to honor the full spectrum of our inner life, starting with self-compassion, which means releasing the guilt of needing more rest, forgiving the slowness of an aging body, and embracing each wrinkle as a map of survival and memory. And then there is the importance of emotional expression, writing in a journal, painting, speaking openly to a friend or therapist, because emotions, unspoken, often calcify into stress, anxiety, or physical tension. And just as critical is the cultivation of gratitude, a practice proven by research to lift mood, strengthen immune function, and reduce symptoms of depression. So simply pausing each morning to name 3 things we are thankful for: a warm blanket, a call from a grandchild, the scent of fresh tea, can shift the emotional tone of the entire day. And of course, there will still be grief, loss, and longing, for aging does not protect us from sorrow, but it does offer the gift of perspective, the wisdom to sit with sadness without becoming lost in it, and to find beauty in small moments. Sunlight through the curtains, birdsong after rain, the familiar touch of a well-worn chair. And in this emotional grounding, we find resilience, not in pretending everything is fine, but in choosing to meet each feeling with softness and strength, understanding that emotional well-being is not about constant happiness, but about inner steadiness, a sense of peace that allows us to face change with grace and greet each new morning not with fear, but with quiet courage and the gentle curiosity of someone still very much alive inside. While the heart and emotions form the core of how we feel each day, the mind, our precious storehouse of memories, language, decision-making, and personality, requires just as much thoughtful care, especially as the years unfold and cognitive sharpness becomes more vulnerable to decline, yet also more responsive to nourishment and stimulation. For contrary to what many believe, the brain does not have to dim with age. In fact, it can remain flexible, creative, and focused well into our 70s, 80s, and beyond if supported with intention. And that support begins with mental activity that challenges yet delights. Reading unfamiliar genres, learning a few words of a new language, playing strategy games or puzzles, or simply engaging in conversation that stretches the mind beyond routine topics. Because just as muscles atrophy from disuse, so too do neural pathways, which means that novelty is essential for cognitive health. And yet it is not only stimulation, but also restoration that the brain craves, as consistent, high-quality sleep is now proven to be one of the strongest predictors of memory retention, emotional regulation, and even protection against diseases like Alzheimer's, meaning that seniors should treat restful sleep not as a luxury, but as brain therapy, prioritizing it through calming evening rituals, gentle movement in the day, and reduced screen time at night. And let us not forget the brain's relationship with the gut. Yes, the gut, because trillions of microbes in our digestive system communicate constantly with the brain through what scientists now call the gut-brain axis, meaning that the food we eat directly affects not just our mood, but our ability to focus and recall. So a diet rich in fiber, healthy fats, leafy greens, and fermented foods like yogurt or kimchi can subtly boost cognitive clarity, while excess sugar, processed meats, and trans fats may quietly dull it. And beyond all this lies perhaps the most underestimated brain booster of all, meaningful social connection, which keeps the mind agile by forcing it to interpret expressions, respond with empathy, and recall shared experiences. So whether it's a book club, a faith group, a game night, or even digital chats with family, staying mentally engaged with others may do more for your brain than any supplement ever could, because in the end, brain health and aging is not about fear of losing what once was, but about actively cultivating what still can be: curiosity, adaptability, joy, and the sacred gift of clarity as we continue to write the later chapters of our lives with wisdom and intention. Just as the mind thrives on stimulation and connection, the body depends on movement, not merely for strength or appearance, but for freedom. The freedom to rise from bed without stiffness, to walk without fear of falling, to reach, bend, and embrace without pain. And though aging may bring natural changes to our joints, bones, and balance, it is a dangerous myth that seniors should move less, when in fact, the opposite is true. The body, even in its older stages, responds beautifully to gentle, consistent activity, and the key lies not in intensity, but in intention, with practices like daily walking, light strength training, tai chi, water aerobics, and stretching offering not just improved mobility, but also better circulation, more stable blood pressure, and reduced risk of chronic conditions such as type 2 diabetes and osteoporosis, and even beyond the physical benefits. Movement releases endorphins, the brain's natural mood enhancers, which can lift the emotional weight that often accompanies isolation or loss. And for those managing joint pain or arthritis, the answer is not to avoid movement, but to find forms of it that are supportive and soothing, like resistance bands, chair yoga, or simply rising to stand every 30 minutes to keep blood flowing and muscles active. Because immobility is not just a symptom of aging, it's a cause, and the longer we sit still, the faster our muscles weaken and our balance fades. But just as quickly, the body can begin to recover strength when invited to move, even slowly, even gently. And just as important as movement itself is the connection it brings: walking with a friend, dancing with a partner, gardening in shared silence. All of which combine physical vitality with emotional well-being, transforming exercise from a chore into a ritual of self-respect. So whether it begins with 5 minutes or 50, the act of choosing to move each day becomes a powerful declaration that you're not finished, that your body still serves you, and that strength, flexibility, and balance are not lost to time, but built one step, one stretch, one breath at a time. As we reach the later years of life, our bodies undergo subtle shifts that make the foods we choose even more crucial. And nutrition is no longer just about filling our stomachs, but about fueling our health, supporting our independence, and maintaining vitality. Seniors often face challenges with appetite, digestion, and absorption, which is why it's essential to pay special attention to the nutrients that nourish the body and keep it functioning at its best. The first step toward optimal nutrition is to prioritize whole, nutrient-dense foods like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats, ensuring a steady intake of vitamins and minerals that help the body combat common aging-related concerns such as bone loss, muscle weakness, and cognitive decline. Calcium and vitamin D are particularly important for maintaining bone health and preventing osteoporosis, and seniors should aim for dairy products, leafy greens, or fortified foods to meet these needs, while magnesium and potassium are essential for maintaining healthy blood pressure and muscle function, with foods like bananas, spinach, and almonds providing a natural source of these minerals. Additionally, omega-3 fatty acids, found in fatty fish like salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds, support heart health and cognitive function, fighting inflammation that can exacerbate conditions such as arthritis, heart disease, and even depression. Alongside these nutrient-rich foods, seniors should make hydration a priority. Dehydration can be a silent issue, as the body's thirst mechanism weakens with age, leading to reduced fluid intake, which can impair kidney function, cause fatigue, and even affect mood. Drinking enough water, along with herbal teas or broths, is vital for supporting digestion, joint health, and overall well-being. In addition, seniors should consider consuming smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day, as this can help with digestion and ensure a steady supply of nutrients without overwhelming the system. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of a balanced diet on mental health. There's a strong connection between what we eat and how we feel, with nutrient-dense foods promoting mental clarity, emotional stability, and resilience against stress and anxiety, which are all too common in the later stages of life. Nutrition isn't just about adding years to your life, but about adding life to your years. So make each meal a thoughtful, mindful act of nourishment, and remember that it's never too late to improve your health through what you put on your plate.